Love is feeling 그대를 처음 본 순간 Love is feeling.
This ring looks pretty in your hands. Your mother-in-law complimented you all of a sudden, breaking a heavy silence settled between both of you. Actually, you came to your in-laws' house with your husband, but all of a sudden she told that she wanted to spend some time with you, so now you came in the backyard, but you're still not that much comfortable with her. But you respect her with all your heart. She's a kind lady, but sometimes a little hard to understand. Jungkook gifted this to me on our second anniversary last week. You replied honestly while she nodded and looked at you, a look that you couldn't really understand. My son is really thoughtful. Do you know there's only 2 rings made of this rare diamond that you are currently wearing? It's really hard to get your hands on this no matter how wealthy you are. This shows how much he loves you. You were surprised to know that Jungkook often gives you gifts that are expensive as hell, but you never thought this ring can cross all the limits. I didn't really know, you said, smiling a little awkwardly. She gave you a piercing look while her eyes narrowed slightly. It's quite something, isn't it? Living a life of such luxury, not many have the privilege. You must be enjoying it, all the comforts and ease. It's been 2 years now, hasn't it? Still no talk of having children. You felt your heart sink at her words. She wasn't saying directly, but her hints were clear. She was questioning how committed you were to the marriage and suggesting you didn't want to start a family. You didn't say anything and lowered your eyes. You know, Ryan, in our family, we have always believed that true love is shown through actions, not just words or gifts. Building a family, making sacrifices, these are the things that strengthen a marriage. It's a shame when such things are delayed or overlooked. You swallowed the lump that formed in your throat. You knew why she was indirectly accusing you. It's been 2 years and you didn't give them any good news. Even though she told you the very first time that she and the whole family are fond of kids and want to see their grandchildren as soon as possible, but it's been 2 years. It's not like you don't want to have kids, you also love them, but you're scared to ask Jungkook. It would sound a little silly, but it's been 2 years, but you're still a bit scared of him. He's sweet and caring husband who loves you unconditionally, but there's something about him that you do not find the courage to ask for a few things. You have no idea if he's ready to have kids because his life is too busy and risky, and you have never heard him talking about having kids, so you don't want to force or push him. Mrs. John again spoke when she saw you all quiet. Don't get me wrong, Ryan. It's okay to enjoy the luxurious life after all your husband is providing, but you should also think about fulfilling your responsibilities. Won't you give him the luxury of having kids? Do you know how much he loves kids? I'm sorry, Mom. You said, looking down. I'm not telling you to apologize. I can understand girls these days wants to enjoy their life. Having kids is a big responsibility, but you have everything. Not everyone enjoy this privilege. You swallowed hard, feeling both guilty and pressured. Her expectations and your own fear felt overwhelming. Just then Jungkook appeared, bringing you relief and reminding you of the support you needed. Let's go back home, it's already late, he said, looking at you, and then looked at his mother. We are leaving, Mom. Take care. Jungkook, before you go, have you two thought any more about having kids? You know how much your father and I wants to see our grandchildren. Jungkook looked at you, concern visible in his eyes. He could see the discomfort on your face and knew this topic was a sensitive one for you. He looked at his mother and forced a smile. Mom, we have talked about it, but these things take time. We'll let you know when there's the news. He lied just to handle the situation and Mrs. John know. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. You two have been married for 2 years now. It's time to start thinking seriously about a family. You felt a lump form in your throat again. Jungkook gently took your hand, offering silent support. We understand, Mom. We'll talk more about it. Now we'll leave. I have some important work as well. Mrs. John nodded, though her eyes still held a hint of disappointment. As you and Jungkook left the backyard, you couldn't help but to feel a mix of relief and sadness. It was clear that his mother doesn't seem to be happy with you. The way she talked to you, it was clear that she was calling you out for living on his son's money. It really broke your heart, but you can't blame her entirely. The ride to home was silent. You were sitting quietly, lost in deep thoughts, staring out of the window but not really seeing anything. Jungkook noticed your silence and knew you must have felt bad after his mother talked about kids. However, he didn't know the full extent of your feelings. He glanced at you while his brows furrowing in confusion. You don't have to take Mom's words personally, Ryan. There's no rush, okay? We have all the time in the world. His voice brought you back from your thoughts and you turned your face towards him, feeling a mix of emotions. You appreciate his attempt to comfort you, but it wasn't just his mother's words that weighed heavily on your mind. Jungkook, do you think the same? Don't you want kids? You finally said it. You couldn't keep it inside you anymore. Meanwhile, Jungkook's eyes widened slightly, caught off guard by your question. He took a moment to gather his thoughts before responding. Of course I want kids someday, but I never wanted to pressure you for anything. If you are not ready yet, I won't force anything on you. You sighed, feeling a lump form in your throat again. You had been scared to discuss your true feelings, fearing his reaction, but today that fear seemed to be buried down somewhere deep. It's not that I don't want kids. I do. I really do. But I'm scared. I'm scared of asking for things, of saying what I want. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells sometimes. I don't want to disappoint you or your family. Jungkook was shocked. He had never realized you felt this way. He always thought you were just taking your time, that you weren't ready yet. He never imagined that you were hesitant and scared to express your desires. I had no idea you felt this way. I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to feel scared or hesitant around me. I thought giving you space was the right thing to do, but I see now that I was wrong. You looked down, feeling tears break the corner of your eyes. You had been carrying this burden alone for so long, and finally, voicing it made you feel both vulnerable and relieved. I want to be a mother, Jungkook. I really do. But sometimes I feel like I'm not enough, like I'm failing you and your family. Your mom's words just reminded me of that. He stopped the car. He felt his heart clenching as he looked at you. He thought he was giving you all the happiness he could possibly give, but he forgot that you are a human and your feelings can be different. He gently cupped your face, turning you to look at him. His eyes were filled with love and understanding. Why did you never tell me about that? You are more than enough, Ryan. You are everything to me. I never want you to feel like you're failing. We are in this together, okay? Now listen to me. If you want to have kids, we'll have kids. If you need more time, we'll take more time. All I care about is that we are happy and that we are making these decisions together. I'm sorry for whatever reason I made you feel hesitant or scared. You shook your head. It wasn't even his fault that you felt that way. please don't apologize. It's not your fault. I was just not confident enough to express my feelings. You felt a wave of emotion wash over you. For the first time, you felt truly understood. Jungkook's words gave you the reassurance you needed. I want to start a family with you, Jungkook, but I need to know that it's something you want to, not just because of the pressure from your family. Jungkook nodded. His expression was serious and heartfelt. I want it too, Ryan. Not because of my family, but because I love you and I want to build a future with you. But we'll do it at our own pace, when we are both ready. No pressure, no rush. You leaned into him, feeling a sense of peace settled over you. For the first time in a long while, you felt hopeful about the future. Thank you, Jungkook. I needed to hear that. I love you. I love you too, Ryan. And from now on, let's talk about everything. No more holding back, okay? I want to know everything that you feel. I want to be your comfort place and not someone you are afraid of. You nodded, feeling a little guilty. I'm sorry, but this won't happen again, I promise. He nodded and kissed your forehead. That made you feel so comfortable and relieved that you finally told him everything. Thank you so much for believing in me. He again started the engine and continued driving. How about we take a small trip somewhere, just the two of us? We can use some time away to talk more and relax. You smiled at the suggestion, feeling the tension slowly ease away. That sounds perfect. I would love that. So, where do you think we should go? Any place in mind? How about a cozy cabin in the mountains? I've always loved the idea of being surrounded by nature. You said, looking excited while he smiled. He wanted to lit up your mood. That sounds perfect. A quiet retreat in the mountains sounds like just what we need. Yeah, we could go hiking during the day and cozy up by the fireplace at night. I like that idea. It will be nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Definitely, and maybe one day we could come back here with our kids. They would love exploring the trails and playing in the snow. Jungkook smiled, looking at you. He realized that you are also fond of kids. It was just your fear that holds you back. That sounds amazing. We can make it a family tradition. I would love that. It will be our little gateway spot. Then let's start looking up some options tonight. We'll find the perfect cabin with a view. You smiled and nodded excitedly. Sounds like a plan. I'm really looking forward for it. Me too. It will be nice to have some quality time together, just the two of us. Definitely. Thank you for suggesting this, Jungkook. It's exactly what I need. He smiled. I'm glad you're excited. We'll make it a trip to remember. The conversation flowed easily now, filled with excitement and plans for the future. You felt a sense of warmth and closeness with Jungkook as you discussed your getaway. Imagining future trips with your children brought a smile to your face, knowing that the cabin and the mountains could become a special place for your family. Things are finally clear and you realized how important it is to communicate your feelings and fear, whatever it is, to the person you love the most and want to be loved. It can only break the boundaries and bring you more close.